Welcome down to the allotment. This is where I tackle my gauge plum, Uhlen's gauge plum. Never had a crop off this really, well only one or two. So the problem, you can see it's a very sort of oozy, sappy type of tree, okay, and prone to cracking on where the graft is on the rootstock. Now I've put a nice big grease band there, and as you can see there's some breaks there in the actual bark, so it needs a good old wash. Now my solution this year has been to plant loads of garlic around the gauge, so I've got dozens of garlic bulbs in because they're antifungal. Other thing is, I have sprayed it with various different types of sprays, including milk, which didn't do the trick because the fungus is resonant in the roots. So now my latest attack is apple cider vinegar, right? It's classic cider vinegar, this stuff here, okay? With a few drops of detergent. So I'm using about sort of 20 or 30 mils in my spray bottle, which is a 2-litre Wilco pressure sprayer. Of course you've got to pressure up with a pump. Always depressurize before you put it back in the car though. All you do is twist the top to take the pressure off it. Now don't just spray the tree, this is my idea. Yeah, okay, spray the tree totally all over, but don't just spray the whole tree. Also spray about 2 to 3 feet on the ground around the roots, and specifically where the trunk goes into the ground, and make sure the ground around it is clear. That's going to be my experiment. Now those of you who follow my channel know I like doing experiments. Not all of them work, but you know, take after Edison and his light bulb, and there you go, just crack on and have a go. So if this works, I'll let you know if I get a crop next year. Right, well that's this gauge plum tree totally soaked in apple cider vinegar, it's dripping. I'd even recommend, if you find in the crevices around where these little fruiting branches come out that there is remains of like mummified fruit, an old toothbrush could probably do it to remove it. You don't want to leave anything which is mummified clinging to the trunk, and these are very sort of sappy, resinous trees. Some plum trees, including cherry trees, are the same, so I'd recommend the same treatment. As you can see in the crevices there, it really does get quite mucky and needs a good old clean out. So I've sprayed the whole thing with apple cider vinegar, every last bit of it I can get to, every angle, and then for about 3 feet around it. So as many bottles of apple cider vinegar I need, I will use, and I'll try this also on my cherry trees that also have the same problem, this sort of sappy, oozy, broken bark and canker. You can also try rubbing garlic on canker, but specifically I think this is better because I think there's a good chance that apple cider vinegar will actually kill the brown rot fungus, but only if you massively soak it. I'll come back and do this throughout the winter. I'll give it about another 2 goes, and just before the buds burst, a last go. But once the buds have burst, you know, you need to pollinate it. One of the reasons I got into gardening was because I had a childhood experience where we were allowed to stay at a chap who was one of my dad's bosses, and his granddad had this golfing bungalow and had an orchard at the back. It's the first time I'd ever been allowed to be anywhere near such a property with such a size, and I just ran around the orchard and I thought, this is just so exciting. I loved all the trees and they had apples on them, and I did have 1 or 2, but you know, I was a boy. So that's what got me into gardening, and I never lost that dream. I never dreamed I could actually grow that sort of stuff myself, but with grafted rootstock, there you go. So using my 2-litre sprayer bottle here, which is a Wilco 2-litre pressure sprayer, I'm working my way through onto this grafted apple tree, okay. This is my Granny Smith's, and you'll see typically there's a bit of green there, a bit of algae there. That's the type of thing I'm attacking, any of these sort of crevices, okay? And you can get canker on these trees. That's kind of like where you get attacked by fungus. So if you start at the top, I've got quite a fine mist on the nozzle. You can adjust the nozzle, see that little brass nozzle there, you can twist it and adjust the spray. I've got quite a fine spray, and these can really go through the trees like lightning. I can do dozens and dozens and dozens of trees, you know, in under an hour, if I stop talking and crack on with it. But there you go. So just get yourself a little pressure sprayer. This has got about Well, this one, yesterday I was using apple cider vinegar, today I'm using white vinegar, and pick a couple of drops of detergent to help it stick, and away I go. Let's see if it gets rid of canker and other pests then, over winter, instead of using chemicals that might get into my fruit. Because don't forget, whatever you put on the tree, chemical-wise, if it's a nasty chemical like Bordeaux solution that contains copper sulfate, it might get into your fruit. You don't want to be eating that, do you? Cherry trees seem prone to this sort of gummy, sappy residue. You can see one there, and where the branches join there. Can you see that? So what I'm going to tend to do now, it's early December now in the UK, is I'm going to scrub these with a scrubbing brush. I'll disinfect the scrubbing brush in between, wash it under water, and you can put it into something like vinegar solution. That'll help to disinfect it and kill germs. Dilute vinegar and then change the vinegar. Don't mix the scrubbing brush with the trees. But you need to get this sap off if you can, really, because this is where the infection can get in. And then I'm going to spray this tree with the dilute vinegar and detergent. Even got canker on that as well. Read about safe plants to put around fruit trees include this stuff, chamomile. So you can have a chamomile lawn, people recommend that, and you can make chamomile tea from the flowers. I do. Helps to keep me calm. Highly recommended is to plant lots of garlic around your fruit trees, and this deters other pests and also various moulds. And other people recommend good old common garden mint. This is supposed to be an ant repellent, however I find better than that. From your mint or your peppermint, make a little spray, chop it all up, filter it, put it into a muslin bag just like Val does from Bill and Val, and spray your trees with peppermint. Dilute peppermint spray, or better still, like I do, buy peppermint oil. It's only about £1 where I live, and put about 20 drops in your 2-litre sprayer. And if the ants start crawling up your fruit trees, well, you need a grease band. That's just Vaseline, nice thick grease band. Also stops various larvae from crawling up your tree. And once the ants start on your tree, get it sprayed with some peppermint. They hate it. They absolutely hate peppermint spray.